この体は無限の剣でできていた。
Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Simano. On my channel, I'm Enatharman Joy, and let's get started here. So, on the morning of April 7th, 2017, or late at night, in the case of people who live abroad, the US launched an unprecedented strike against the Syrian Arab Army and the Syrian Arab Air Force, the militant branch, or the military branch, they're not militants, the military branch of the Bashar al-Assad dictatorship. It was a strike directed against the Al-Shayrat Air Force Base, south of Olms, in response to a purported use of chemical weapons, and chemical weapons used by aircraft which may or may not have launched from that base. The strike was conducted using exclusively Tomahawk missiles. Tomahawk missiles launched from two Arleigh Burke class missile destroyers, the USS Ross, DDG-71, and the USS Porter, DDG-78. And I've done my best to try to replicate this engagement in Simano. Now, the Simano database doesn't have the DDG-71 or the DDG-78, but they do have the DDG-79 and the DDG-72, which are, I can only assume, roughly equivalent Arleigh Burke class missile destroyers. So I have them stationed here in the rough position they would have been firing from. I obviously don't know their exact position where they fired from, as that's the US government isn't going to give that information to me. But what I do know the location of is the Al-Shayrat Air Force Base. And so here we can see it. I'll just zoom into it. And I've done my best, working off of aerial photos taken after the missiles struck, to replicate the Air Force Base. So there is some controversy over how many missiles were shot and where they landed. The US purports that it launched 60 Tomahawks, one of which failed immediately and fell into the water, and they say that 58 out of 59 impacted areas within the base. So this ranges from airplane hangars to some small workshops, some fuel storage, fuel dumped areas, and some what would be SAM sites. I don't know exactly what SAM group the Syrian Arab Air Force would have been using, so I've just placed down some generic ones here. I don't think it really matters. What's interesting is there could have been a Russian presence of S-300 or even S-400 SAMs in the area, but what's important here is that they did not act. They did not engage any of the Tomahawks shot, and the Tomahawks were unimpeded in their flight. Nobody's saying any were shot down. However, Russia alleges that only 23 of the Tomahawks hit, while 36 failed to impact. Going off of aerial photos that I've sourced, there seems to be a growing consensus that at least 44 hit. There have to have been 44 confirmed hits. There is evidence of multiple hits per target in some cases, but not all. Also interesting, here we can see in the middle, there's a 3,000 meter runway in the center of the base, and this was not struck. I'm recording this on the 8th, and as of today, the Syrian Arab Air Force has given good video evidence that airplanes are still able to land and take off from the supposedly destroyed base. Now let's look at what we'll be striking here. We have groups of aircraft hangars, 4 aircraft hangars up here, and then we have another group of 4 aircraft hangars there. We have the runway in the middle. We're not going to be striking that. And then I have some generic small buildings here for what would purportedly be workshops. Then we have ammo shelters, here. There's 10 of them, that's what's important, there's 10 ammo shelters there. And then we have these fuel repositories. I don't know the contents of what fuel they were storing there, but presumably it's some form of diesel, or perhaps natural gas, but I really doubt it. And each of these are sort of accompanied by these SAM sites. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 diesel, or I say that like I know it's diesel, 7 fuel repositories here, and 5 accompanying SAM sites. So, I think what I'm going to do is try to simulate the engagement, try to simulate how likely it would have been for the missiles to be able to impact where the aerial photographs show them impacting. Now, this next part might be a little bit time consuming, as I dedicate 59 individual missiles to strike this area, so bear with me. You can see here I think I'm going to dedicate each one of the Arleigh Burkes is outfitted with 56 Tomahawk TAC-TOM variants, each of these carrying a 1,000 pound high explosive warhead. So I think I'm going to dedicate at least 2 of these missiles to each of these aircraft hangars. Because there is evidence of multiple strikes on some of them. I might speed this up in post. 'Alright everybody, that is 60 missiles exactly away. Now I'm sure if as the strike was really being conducted, they would have a way to get the missiles to sort of have it like they would all sort of congregate in the air and then all strike at once. I'm not super confident in my Shimano skills to coordinate a missile strike with that precision, so I'm just going to assume that there's no form of response to this. I'm just going to shoot the missiles as they come. Now, in reality, of course, this would be an unwise way to do things, just rapid-fire missiles all at once to strike a target, but I don't know how to do it in Shimano. I don't know how to get them to go into holding patterns or anything like that. I could try perhaps going down reference points and doing it in mission, but that sounds enormously complicated, and replicating the base was already quite time-consuming. So we can see the missiles spreading out in just vast waves. The way that they're launched is out of these sort of like pods that are all sort of discrete from each other. So this does allow actually for very, very fast launches of multiple missiles. And if we go to the individual Tomahawks, you can see that they are moving at a speed of 500 knots on cruise at an altitude of only 61 meters. So they almost glide along the surface of the water or the land or of whatever they're going over at extremely high rates of speed. It has been sort of disputed, almost, whether or not Russian S-300s could shoot them down, and the general consensus that I've found online is that yes, they could, but the onboard radar of the S-300 would not be powerful enough to detect them before it would just zip past. So the S-300 would need to be linked into a network of additional radars or some sort of forward radar that detects the missile before the S-300 can. And then the missile would be launched from the S-300 to intercept it. I like the way that Shimano does this. It sort of spreads them all out and they sort of converge onto the target automatically. I'm not sure what the reason for that is, but it looks really nice. It's really cool. Now I'm just going to speed up time real quick and let's see if they can start impacting the base. Now, I believe I put down S-200 missiles in the airbase, which is not necessarily what they would have had, but it's listed as like a generic anti-air emplacement. Hopefully this doesn't interfere with anything, but I honestly doubt they're going to be able to shoot down a Tomahawk moving at speed. And you can see here, this is interesting as well, the Tomahawk is moving at an altitude of 841 meters, but only 58 meters above, or 61 meters above ground level. They can sort of detect how the Earth is, the elevation of the Earth under them, and they sort of glide over it. Very cool. Now the first wave is sort of coming in here. And you notice I didn't designate any strikes on the runway. Oh, I might have messed up. Not designating any strikes on that ammo shelter. Uh-oh. But you notice I didn't designate any strikes on the runway. This has been confirmed through aerial photos, and again, the Syrian Arab Air Force says that no strikes were directed towards the runway or any taxiways. Perhaps to allow Russian forces to continue using the airbase and just send a warning to Assad and Assad alone. Just look at the speed of the Tomahawks as they cruise in there. Oh, we've already had one malfunction. Oh, and impacts. Massive impacts. Only light damage to most of the things, but impacts nonetheless. Just Tomahawks coming in so fast, I can't even keep track of them, although it seems like some of them have sailed away. What's this thing's deal? Perhaps the thing it was going towards was destroyed? Oh, they've been redirected to a new target. That's it. The thing that they were going towards was destroyed. Just massive impact. Just you can really see why the politicians and such were so keen on using Tomahawk missiles to open up the Gulf War and the Iraq War to really emphasize this shock and awe tactic, which America has become so known for. Interesting. A little disturbing. Just mass devastation. The runway has actually gotten damaged from perhaps just being in close proximity to the Tomahawks. Or maybe one accidentally redirected towards it, because I marked it as hostile, I should. It's a friendly target now, don't hit the runway. Oh, just, you can see already. Let's see how many Tomahawks are still in the air. Oh, quite a few. Perhaps this could have been accomplished with a third as many or half as many. All the targets are totally eliminated, except for the SAM sites, which are still holding on. Maybe they're somewhat hardened, but they're all very damaged in any case. Tomahawk has impacted the runway. Don't do that. That didn't happen in real life. We're losing contact with the SAM sites as, of course, they're being destroyed. There's but one remaining. It's heavily damaged already. But you can see here, there are multiple Tomahawks malfunction. I've spotted at least 3 which have malfunctioned. I haven't really been paying attention. That's the last of the SAM sites. That's all she wrote. We can see that there are still, well, let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21? Oh. 21, 22, 23. There's still 23 Tomahawks airborne, and the last of the resistance has been wiped out. So, with 44 confirmed hits, I think it's pretty safe to say that this could have happened. Yeah, so 60 minus 1, 59, minus 23, that's 36. So I've accomplished basically what the US purports to have happened in 36 Tomahawk hits. Well, I suppose that's all. I suppose that's it. It could have happened. Thanks, have a good night, and remember to like, comment, and subscribe, or don't if you don't like what I made.